Sir.
Um, I am so sorry, you guys. I don't know why I thought 9:30 p.m. And then James, thank you for the text. I appreciate it. Stressing me out, winding me up. And then Lane, anyway, I forgive the background. Also, we're in the midst of some heavy duty what do you call it? Decorative changes in this lake house that Patty's having with some designers driving me nuts. I shouldn't say that.
Well, you look great. You look, yeah, no, you look great. It's great.
He's spending some money right now. I'll tell you that.
Well, Herb, thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I mean, seriously, this right here is what it's all about. Thank you for getting on here, guys. This is so special. I can't begin to explain how much of an honor it is to sit here and get to talk to Herb and share this with you guys. He's unbelievable. I've only been in the industry for 4 years, and Herb Cepeda is one of the top income earners in Isagenix. Him and his wife, Patty, have been in this industry cumulatively combined over 50 years, guys, 50 years, and they've made over $20 million in Isagenix. And Herb, you are the most humble man I've ever been around, and I just lean in so much to what you have to say, and I cannot wait to hear what you have to say, for our team tonight. So first off, thank you for joining us. And I got a quick question because I was talking about this earlier. So how many millionaires do you have, in your downline on your team? Just a quick fire question.
First of all, I'm not going to cry. I know what you're trying to do to me, Lane. I'm not going to cry. That was a great introduction. Great introduction. But everybody, before I answer that question, I want to tell you, Lane and Chelsea and Audrey and James, are they not the greatest? Really? I mean, really, you got to give it up to them. I mean, these are people who are there, sticking it out, committed, know the meaning of what it takes to be successful with a never quit attitude, and care more about you than they care for themselves. So that's my definition of true leadership. And so kudos to you guys. So to answer your question, how many millionaires are in Isagenix or just on our team?
Just on your team. Yeah, I'm just on your team.
I'm not sure. Probably maybe 10%, maybe around 10% of all the millions, maybe 30, around that mark, something like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what's so cool about it, guys, is I think this is the only industry that you have someone like Herb that's willing to teach us. James and Audrey were enrolled by Herb and Patty. We were enrolled by James and Aud, and it just filters down. You got the best of the best in the industry sitting right here. So, okay, we're going to get in. I want to get into the questions. Herb, every time I talk to you, it's like I got a pen, a piece of paper. I know the team has got some too. So question one. So like what about Isagenix right now in this season, it has you so fired up? Because every time I talk to you, I just want to run through a brick wall. So what about it right now in this season?
Lane, some things you can't explain. Sometimes, through you can call it divine intervention. You can call it, your relationship with the Lord. Sometimes something just comes upon you that you just know that you know that you know, and you really can't find the words to explain what you know. Anybody ever experienced that? Just raise your hand. Have you ever experienced anything like that? After being around this industry for 30 something years, I've had an opportunity to look at a lot of companies, a lot of product line, certainly a lot of compensation plans, the internal structure of the companies, the employees of the company, the associates in the field, the distributors in certain other companies. I've reviewed all of it. And, you've got to come to the understanding of what you have after you've looked for it for so long, if that makes any sense. So I always knew that people in network marketing were making a fortune when I was introduced to this industry. I mean, it was very apparent. You met regular people just like what you're experiencing now, making some what I considered crazy money at the time that I was introduced to this. I mean, young people. I remember in 1988, I know a lot of you can't relate to it because you weren't even born in 1988, but in 1988, I met a girl, young lady, Patty and I, through another trooper. I was a New York State trooper who was 21 years old. and take economies of scales and stuff like that. Kara, you know what I'm talking about. You remember what the economy was like in 1988, right? 21 years old, she was making $12,000 a month at 21 years old in 1988. So if you do the comparison of what she would have been making today, it's a big deal at 21 years old. And it just gave us hope that if that person can do it, and we had an opportunity to meet, and her parents as well, we started to believe that we could do it. Now, probably Audrey knows this better than anybody on this Zoom tonight. I would venture to guess that. Audrey, would you say? You probably know us a little bit better than anybody. She'd be the first person to tell you that most of the time we don't know what we're doing, but we do something. We take action. We have a never quit attitude. And I say that to encourage you to don't quit on yourselves. A lot of times people think that it's not growing fast enough, or I don't have the people, the leadership's not coming on board, or this person's leaving, or this person got off the products, now they're not using it anymore. They can't sometimes see past, what's going to go on 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months down the line. A lot of the success in network marketing, and Lane, if you want to steer me back in the right direction by asking me another question, I'm just going to go on and on because it's important. A lot of the success of network marketing is a mental thing. It really is a mental thing. You've got to believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that if anybody believes you or not, you're going to make it happen. You've got to believe that you have all the characteristic traits that anybody else has. I tend to talk a little goofy and a little bit like I don't care because I want people to feel free. I want people to express themselves the way that they want to express themselves. Because at the end of the day, success in network marketing is going to allow you to do what you want with who you want, whenever you want, as much as you want, without having to worry about money. And you don't have to necessarily, play a game, put on an act or anything like that. You build a business and it's going to go on with or without you to provide residual income, right? And do the things you want to do, right? So I thought this call was at 9:30, just to give you an example. So I'm in there watching a historical perspective, a biblical perspective of what went on in the church and early days and all that stuff. It was a great movie. And then I looked at my clock and I said to Patty, I'm like, I got to go get ready. I got to shower because I just came from fishing, guys. I was fishing. I was fishing about an hour and a half ago. I got to get ready. Audrey, James, Lane, Chelsea. I mean, I got to go freshen up and shower. So that's when I got the text from Lane. We're on the call now. Like, no shower, no freshening up, no trying to make my jarhead haircut look any better with some gel or anything. No time for that, right? You got to be raw and you got to come out and face the criticism and the judgment maybe of some people who may be judging what you have based off of what you look like or what you sound like. The point of all that is, guys, we're messengers. That's it. We're not the message. We are not the message. Isagenix is the message. The opportunity to change people's lives is the message. And if they're going to judge the message based off of the messenger, next, you got to go on to the next person. You've got to find the people who are at the right place at the right time of their lives to not only want to view an opportunity, but have the right attitude towards an objective viewpoint of the opportunity. I remember 32 years ago when my mentor in this industry told me a story. He goes, Herb, let me tell you something. He was a very successful insurance broker at the time he heard about this industry. He goes, Herb, a lot of people would never have prospected me. A lot of people would never have, talked to me about this industry. Why? Because they thought I was doing okay. I was a successful insurance agent, broker with a company, making decent money, what most people would consider six-figure income money. Most people would say, oh, he's set. He doesn't, he's not going to deviate from that. He goes, but I got to tell you, there could be a 3-year-old little kid tugging at my suit. I'm wearing my suit and tie. 3-year-old kid tugging at my pants saying, hey, my mommy and daddy make a lot of money and they have a lot of freedom and they're looking for people who want that. Do you want to hear about it? He said his answer would have been to that 3-year-old kid, Yeah, take me to your mommy and daddy.
That's so
think about
good.
it. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's really, really good. He didn't judge the messenger. He was looking for the message. It's a way to alleviate ourselves from feeling that it's us, guys. It's not us. It's really the opportunity. It's the stories that start to develop in the industry. It's the story of James and Audrey, and how Audrey came into the business and James met, and they met in the organization, and they fell in love. Long story short, got married. Now they're expecting a child and doing very, very well financially. It's a story of Lane and Chelsea. You know, they come to a crazy, crazy, unexpected chance meeting of somebody that Lane knew of. And Lane knew, I want to connect with this person. And bang, it starts a whole nother, you know, belief cycle. All these belief cycles build up on each other. And you can get belief cycles from everywhere. But are you going to stay in the game and believe bigger and better and longer than the next person? That's what it really boils down to.
Okay, so so that's exactly where I wanted to go. So that's like how you've been in this industry, you and Patty, for cumulative 50 years. So like, how do you remain focused after so long? What gets you out of bed every morning? What do you keep, waking up every single day to stay focused? How do you do that?
Well, first of all, we wake up when we want to wake up. What gets us out of the bed in the morning? I mean, the answer to that, full disclosure, it's the reason why we built this business. So we can get out of bed to do the things we want to do. I mean, this week we've had guests in town literally for the last 8 or 9 days, and we just invited them to stay another week because we enjoy their company. We're having a good time. We're just having fun. And it's not like, and every day I'm out on that lake, I'm like, no rain, we're going fishing on the boat. And so we're out on the lake and we're fishing. And so what gets me out of bed is life. We've only got so much time. You've got to do some things. And it's not about my love for life is a lot greater than my love for Isagenix. Put it to you that way. Now, don't take it the wrong way, everybody. I certainly love, respect, appreciate, and is so grateful for Isagenix. But you go into it with an understanding of what you're going to contribute and what you're going to get back. Does that make sense? Like, you go in it knowing I'm going to give it my all. This is what's going to happen. I'm not going to stop until this happens. And you make goals. That was a new process for me personally when I was in this industry. I introduced to the industry. I never really made life goals and stuff like that. Maybe I did, but there certainly were short term. Or when I became, the biggest goal I had in my life was becoming a New York State trooper, truth be told, because I needed a job at the time. It was a big goal for me. And so I accomplished that, but I never thought that, I'm going to do this and then, I'll be taken care of for the rest of my life. It's always in the back of my mind. I could do this for 20 years and then I can retire after 20 years, but I'm going to retire and have to get another job because I'm going to retire on half of my pay. That sound familiar? Like, they don't give you 100% of your pay upon retirement. It's like half. You can barely make it on 100%, right? And so the wheels start turning and you're starting to think, how is my life going to change? What's going to be that vehicle? God, please give me something that I can grasp onto, that I can believe in, that I can make a fortune, not for the love of the money, but for the love of the freedom that the money's going to give me. Send me something. And all of a sudden, get introduced to this industry. Now, if you think this is a all puffy, good, glamorous story, it's not. Because we started in this industry because we believed in people and we actually believed in the company and their compensation plan and their product line. But we did it. Somebody help me out with the word that I'm looking for, where you're not really knowledgeable of what you're getting into. You just follow people blindly. What's the word I'm looking for? You just follow people blindly. A tremendous amount of trust. I don't know, trust. You can say trust in certain individuals.
Naive.
Huh? Naively. Yeah, that's a good one. could be naive. And we went for it. And you know what? I think we were 26 or 27 years old, and it blew up on us. You know, back in 1988, we got to the point where we were making $10,000 a month, and that 5-figure a month income was a big deal. That was like a big deal back then, you know, 5 figures a month, woo, at a young age. And so we start to live, you guys, this is a good story. I don't tell everybody this story in this much detail, so pay attention. Listen to this. So we got with this company. The company is New Skin. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. And so we ran with New Skin. We made it to the blue diamond level. And it was all about, it was very glamorous. I'll put it to you that way, very glamorous. And when you got to that level of being a blue diamond, they classified you in a category of when you're being introduced like this. Oh, blue diamond executive, yeah, where the average income is $74,000 per month. We weren't making anywhere near $74,000 a month. But because they promoted you like that, there was kind of like a socioeconomic class that you were in now. And so you had to act like that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's where we get the terminology, fake it till you make it. So we faked it the best we could, you know, buying Mercedes Benz, going on vacation, yada yada, until we got into so much debt and the company started to spiral on us, that compensation plan backwards, because something called a stair-step breakaway. People were breaking away and taking the volumes and the percentages with them as they broke away. This earpiece just went dead. So if you can't hear me, just stop me. This one's dead. Can you still hear me now?
You're
okay,
good.
Great. Okay. So it started going backwards and spiraling, and we had to maintain a posture that we were in a category of people that were earning $74,000 a month. And so we lived on credit and racked up some credit card bills, and ultimately said we couldn't do it anymore and walked away from the company, took off the blindfolders, because we were like, you know, trained to stay focused. Don't look at anything else. We've got the best. So don't keep your eye off the goal. And, you know, we believed all that naively at a young age. And so we kept our eyes off on the ball, and we stayed focused, and we weren't going to pay attention to anything on the side. The day that I took the blinders off, because I told Patty, you know, well, this is one of the industries where we're going to be one of the first people to tell, you know, most people tell their rags to riches story, right? We're going to be one of the first people to tell our riches to rags story, because we're going backwards real fast. And so ultimately it got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. Physically, emotionally, I decided can't do that anymore. I've got to take action. And so I decided to file for bankruptcy. That was my action. Embarrassing as it was at the time. I'm not going to ask for a show of hands how many people file for bankruptcy, but when you first do it the first time in your life, if ever more than once, it's an embarrassing thing, especially when you're in your early 20s. And then they told me for 10 years, you won't have any credit. I'm like, I can't help it. We're $160,000 in credit card debt. There's no way out. And so I took the blinders off and I said, never again in my life am I going to put myself in a position to participate in one of these multi-level marketing companies. Can you believe that story? Can you believe that story?
It's powerful.
Because here we are today, participating in a networking situation where Lane has told you we've made tens of millions of dollars. So what happened since that time and today? What happened was something in my heart kept tugging at me, saying, you know, I can't stand the experience I just went through. 4 or 5 years of my life just wasted. But I can't get around or away from, I don't know, the appreciation, the love, the fondness of that networking. Like, I know networking is a reality. I know people talk all the time. I know that if you can initiate something, if I could tell Mary, hi Mary, about something, and Mary knows a whole bunch of people that I don't know, Mary could told those people, and those people will hear about it because I told Mary, and the company will track to. That whole networking thing got me so jazzed up, but I got very disenchanted with multi-level marketing. And so I started to look at other companies that they told me not to look at in the past. I started to look at the Amways. I started to look at the Herbalifes. I even went as far as to enroll in Melaleuca one time. Can you believe that? That's why when people say, oh, Melaleuca coming back, I'm like, no, Melaleuca's never coming back. I'll tell you that right now. Never coming back. Not happening. Why? You can't do it with a 5x7 matrix. And unless you've been around to understand what I'm talking about, you don't know. And so you better find the people you can trust. That one day maybe you can ask them those specific questions and they can break it down to you. And then you get to the level of understanding what they're talking about, and you can see that they're not lying to you. Otherwise, these people are following people blindly, not knowing what long-term, circumstances are going to be. What's going to happen in the long term? They might give you some money up front, but making long-term residual money off a 5x7 matrix, it doesn't happen very often. Just doesn't. Most of you are saying, what's a 5x7 matrix? The point is, I've analyzed all these companies and these compensation plans and saw all their flaws to the point where I told Patty, I'm like, you know what? In our lifetime, I don't think we're going to find a company that meets everything we're looking for right now, understanding objectively and having done some research and analysis of what to look for and having it stacked up to what we've experienced. I don't think we're going to find another company in our lifetime.
So where do you?
Because we put 5 categories that we were looking for, 5 simple categories that on a scale of 1 to 10, we said they got to score a 10 in every single category. Otherwise, it's not the right category. You can have a company score a 10 in 4 categories and a 9 in the 5th category, and it's not the right company. Why? Because inevitably that shortcoming is going to rear its ugly head. And it might take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years for it to happen. And you're going to have to reflect back and you're going to say, I wasted a lot of time. And so it needed to be a perfect 10 in every category. You want to know what the categories are?
Yes.
Okay.
You knew where I was going.
Yeah, I did. I'll do it real quick for the sake of time. I don't want to bore anybody, but I'm drinking a cup of coffee to catch up. I want to know. Because the call started a half hour earlier than I thought it was going to start. So I'm like, let me get fired up real quick. Each shot's going to take a little time to kick in for me. Let me get the real thing going on right now.
The 5 categories, I've heard them. I love them. I want everyone to hear them. But also, I want to know where you see Isagenix going. So those 2 parts of the question. So where do you see?
Okay, I'll answer the 5 categories first, so they know. For those people who are those types of people that need to write stuff down, you can write them down. I'll go through them real fast. Number 1 is the company. The company needs to be ran or operated or started by people who understand the industry of networking, but they also understand traditional business and have had a successful track record in successful business. Okay, because a lot of times, a lot of companies start off with people who have tremendous success in network marketing, but no knowledge or understanding or even participation in corporate America, so to speak. And so they go try to start a company, but they don't know some of the things that corporations run into. And conversely, there's a lot of unbelievably successful corporate people who have attempted to start networking companies, but they don't know how to relate to you and I because they've never been in networking before. Does that make sense? So you got to have both of them. And we have that in Jimmy, Kathy, Coover. And there's a lot of other things to look at from a company perspective, but I won't get into minute details. Secondly, the product line. The product needs to be consumable. It's a must. It's a must. It needs to be consumable. Unique is a bonus factor. If you can't find it anywhere else, I mean, it's a bonus factor. And if it's emotional, it's a home run. So emotionally unique, consumable products.
We've got that with Isagenix, of course. This one's going to go out also, so just let me know. The third thing is the compensation plan. I wanted a compensation plan that would pay some people. It just went out. Can you hear me?
You're good.
Okay. It would pay some people 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 per week. But just not a few, but a lot of many, 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 many other people making smaller amounts of money, anywhere from $100 to, let's say, $5,000 a week. Because most network marketing companies' compensation plans are designed where a few people are going to make 6 figures a month easily, but it'll be at the expense of all the other people who don't make anything, if that makes sense. The fourth thing is the training and support. And we were never too concerned about that because we kind of knew, you know, we can go outside even corporate training and support and train a team up to initiate a team. It's not that difficult. And the fifth was the timing. Was the timing going to be right? And I'll tell you something, we picked Isagenix a little bit prematurely, you know, because it was only, I think, 5 or 6 years old when we heard about it. And we should have waited until probably they were around 10 to 15 years old minimum before we made the judgment on them. But it worked out pretty good from the timing as well. And so Isagenix is the only company to this very day that meets a 10 in all those categories to this day, very day. No other company that exists right now scores a 10 in every single category. And that's an opinionated view, no question. I'm the person who made up the categories, Patty and I. There are categories that what we were looking for. But today, if we were to do an objective analysis of other companies, no other company is scoring a 10 in all those categories. So let's bring us back to where do we think Isagenix is going. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot happening right now with the company, with the company's perspective, with the leadership of the company, with the management of the company, with the field of the company, socioeconomically speaking, things that are happening on not only a domestic, but a global scale right now that's really setting the stage for Isagenix to at least double, if not triple, over the course of the next 60 months. To at least double or triple over the course of the next 60 months. I remember when, let me tell you what that means. I remember when we made our first million, you know, when you make your first $1 million in Isagenix, they give you a title. I think it's called like Millionaire status title. That's what they call it. You get this Millionaire status title, right? And I'm like, oh, all right, we're a millionaire. We made $1 million. They're like, yeah, you're millionaire number 37, I think we were. I'm like, millionaire number 37? Wow, there's a lot of millionaires in this company already. That's what I was saying. And then when we hit millionaire, I started to do an analysis. I'm like, holy smokes. Patty's like, what? I'm like, over the course of the next 5 or 6 years, maybe 8 years, maybe 10, we could possibly have a 10-fold growth in the number of millionaires. How many millionaires are in the company today? Nearly a 10-fold growth. Over the course of the next 60 months right now, we'll at least double the amount of millionaires, easily. The amount of people who will make $1 million in the next 60 months will double easily. And so I have a dream. I have a dream. Here's my dream. Ready? I hope and pray that many of you and many new people, I really want to, I'm competitive just like a lot of you. I know a lot of you are competitive. Don't tell me that some of you aren't. I know some of you are competitive. It's a good thing. But I want these people who are going to rise up through the ranks in Isagenix to come from our team. What's wrong with that? I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good place for a leader to be, because then they'll go the extra mile. They'll do the extra thing for their team. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want everybody to win in the company. I kind of do. I'm not going to go out of my way to spend all the time in my day to train other teams. Doesn't make any sense. Follow that lead. Have your people, raise your people up. Be with them. Train them. Make little teams, because little teams grow into big teams very, very quickly. And so, Leon, I think the company will actually, I think minimally, I think it'll double, perhaps triple in the next 60 months, which means a lot of people are going to make a lot of money.
Man, Who's fired up? Show of hands. Who's fired up? I love what you said too, Herb. Make little teams that grow into big teams. And I think that's such a powerful statement because there are so many people on this call right now that have done that. And that has to do because of your and Patty's leadership. And guys, don't you just feel like you're sitting in Herb's living room right now, just having a conversation?
I'm in my bathroom. This is a
bathroom.
Okay.
I feel like I'm sitting in your bathroom. That's exactly, and it's like that, guys. Like it's such an honor because Herb didn't have to do this, and like that's the wonderful industry of network marketing is he's taking time out of his night, and we could go for another hour, and probably everyone would stay on, but I know Herb's probably got to go take a shower because that's what he thought.
Let's stay on for an hour. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do another hour. Good suggestion. You know what everybody's thinking right now? I had enough. We don't have to go on another hour.
Exactly. Well, guys, this is put in the chat real quick. Maybe just one nugget that you learned from this. I mean, I've got a whole page note, but the five thing criteria. I mean, I've heard that, and it is such knowledge, goals, mental game. Just, I'm fired up. Who's fired up? Who's ready for Q4 for 2021? Herb, I can't thank you enough. You're just a servant leader, and you're somebody that I look up to so much, and I really appreciate you taking the time out. I know I can speak for James, Odd, and Chelsea. Like we talked about this all week, so we truly, truly appreciate it.
Well, we want you guys to come out and visit sometime. Don't work too hard.
I'll take you up on it. Guys, Business Mastery, Sundays, 9 p.m. Again, Mondays. I'm getting my days mixed up. Mondays at 9 p.m. We're going to be here again, and we'll make a flyer, and you guys will see it on the team pages. And Herb, see you next time. Team, see you guys next time. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.